All right, so today I have the Signature Fitness leg press. I've been eyeballing one of these for a year, 2 years. I never had space or I didn't have the money. It was one or the other. So things lined up and I grabbed this thing. And I've only had this for 2 days. I've only used it today. So I'm just going to give you an initial review. Obviously I can't tell you what it's like to own it for 5 years or anything like that, but I can tell you out of the gate, this thing feels like the leg presses we used to use way back in the 90s when I was in the military. The weight, the handles to release the safeties are on, they go out, or they go in rather than out, as if that matters. It even has that leg press smell to it. So it's literally the same, right? So we've got 4 pegs for holding plates up here. I have 6 loaded on each side, so you can do the math in your head on that one if you want to. Correction, 7. I moved it up to 7 for this one. So 7 plates on each side, 14 times 45. So not 1,000 pounds. I could probably dump $1,000 worth of weight on here and choke up and do quarter reps to test that 1,000-pound capacity, but there's really no reason to do that. This is close enough. It will hold more though. I could probably get, I shouldn't use a deep dish, but there's a bumper plate on the end. If you were to stick with regular, competition style plates, you could get 2 more on there, but 7, you could probably get 4 of these thinner bumper plates up there, but you could get it if you wanted to. There are storage pegs on the side right here on each side, so you can throw some plates on there. I have mine too close to the wall for that, so I'm not going to be doing that. What's nice is I had a cheaper leg press before that I reviewed on here, which was a good product. This is going to be much more heavy duty. The sides, this whole side, comes put together for you. You do have to take the cap off to get the sled onto the rails inside of there, but it does come all together. Some of the stuff that would have been bolted together is all welds, which is nice. So what you're really looking at when you go to assemble it is these 2 sides. They're exactly the same. Then you have this assembly, which is pretty heavy. You're going to need a second person because you are not lifting 100 and whatever pounds that thing is up and holding the rails up to stick the thing into. It ain't happening. You need 2 people. It wouldn't hurt to have a third. But I did it with my stepson. We did fine. Then this attaches to it. You're supposed to attach this before you put it on there, going by the instructions. I did it after because it's one less thing to have to hold up. It's very simple. It's 4 bolts. I put the pegs on afterwards like it says in the instructions. My only complaint with that is there's these bolts in here. There's a hole big enough for them to slide up into on the bottom, and that's physically impossible to get the bolt into. So if I was starting over, which I am not going to do, if I was starting over, I would have put the bolt in facing that way instead of this way, and then the actual head of the bolt would stick inside of the actual peg here, but whatever, it works fine. I did it up here, and it's more flush with the mount, but whatever, it works. It works fine. That's that. The leg, actual where you put your feet here, the foot pad itself, this is rubber bolted on just like a nice, it says it's commercial on the ad, so I guess you're just sticking to it. But this is just like you would have. It's angled so you can get the different foot placements on it. The nice thing, which shouldn't be surprising, is that again, a lot of the cheaper leg presses, there's a piece down here that goes on the rail to guide it up and down. It makes it so you can't use it to do calf extensions. I like to put my toes here and push out. You actually get more activation on your calves from an extended position than you do from a seated position, so seated calf raises are not as good. So you can simulate that with this. It's cheaper than buying one of those and then getting a standing calf raise or doing whatever other exercise. This is nice and safe. You just stick your toes out. Stick these together. There's an I-beam there and back there that you bolt in. You bolt this plate on the front, and then you stick your pad to it, you stick this whole thing in here. The seat gets put on afterwards, of course. This whole metal part goes in, gets bolted inside of there, then you bolt this onto this. This is nice, thick padding. That is almost my entire finger, so we're looking at just right at 3 inches, well, probably 2 inches of padding and 1 inch of wood, but still, nice and thick padding. It is very comfortable initially out of the gate, obviously. The back is adjustable right here, up, down. We're gonna go with the up position so that I can just bang out a few reps for the camera here. They're numbered, so you can figure that out for yourself, that you've used a leg press. Total assembly time was probably an hour, mostly because you have to figure out how to lift up some of these very heavy pieces, which is a challenge. You're gonna need somebody with some meat behind them, I can tell you that. There's a handle here. Should you fail, somebody else can push it off of you. I would have liked to have had a safety latch down here beneath these settings for the pegs, just as a backup. I didn't test it, but I'm pretty sure this would squeeze you down in there pretty well. The stop for it is here, so I mean, you wouldn't die, but you'd be uncomfortable. That's for sure. So let's just do a couple reps just to show you how smoothly this thing runs. That's it. You know what a leg press is. Obviously, we're more than halfway, but we're not super close to that weight capacity. We're at 630. So I'm leaving plenty of room in the tank. I bet it would do more than 1,000, honestly, but we're not going to test that. This is more than enough weight to get an idea for how this is going to feel. So we'll do like 3 or 4. Centered better. That's good. That's good, man. That is good. That is just like the commercial one. So that's all I got to say about that. Great product. Walmart. Walmart's customer service. These are $1,200. I think $1,300 right now. Their Prime Day ripoff. I got this for $650. The next fucking day, it was $4.99. So I called them. You speak to the lady in Bangladesh who doesn't understand anything. Round and round we went. She was put a note on my account, told me when I got it that I could call back and they would adjust the price. And I honestly, I should have just ordered a second one and returned this one. I knew that was not going to happen. Sure enough, when I called back once I had it, there's no note on my account. Well, I guess you just have to deal with it. No, that's not how that works. You promised me a price. So, an hour of going back and forth and her putting them on hold to talk to her manager. Supposedly I'm getting a refund and keeping it. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm willing to bet they're hoping I just kind of go away. Which, let's face it, I'm gonna. I was happy at $650. I just really wanted the $4.99. So I think I'm probably just going to get screwed there. But that's Walmart customer service. The product's great. Thanks for tuning in.